Good. Uh-oh. I messed up. 1 second. Already technical difficulties with this camera. I'm trying to lighten it up a bit. Okay, that's a little better. Good morning, everyone. All right, it's Tuesday, and I'm feeling good despite the headache that I have. The other day I mentioned that I was started drinking chaga tea, and I'm going through this detoxification type thing because that's what it does. So the past couple of days I've had a headache, but it's from that. Not even coffee has taken it away. But it's a good thing. I understand where it's coming from. You know, it's like, you know, we let all this stuff accumulate in our bodies, and it hurts when it comes out. And it's no different than a splinter. You know, it's going to hurt when you pull it out. Anything that enters your body that's not supposed to be there, it's going to hurt when it comes out. Even the emotions, it's going to hurt when it comes out. But once it's out, it's out. It's done. It's over with. So that's the process with everything in our lives. You know, if it's not supposed to be there, it's going to hurt coming out. But the good thing about it is once it's over, it's over. And the whole point of the pain is so that you remember. So that you remember not to let that stuff happen again. Anyway, so today, I don't know if oh, that's ugly. 1 second. Okay, put it back. Today, I'm going to talk about, lady, you were just trying to get over way too quickly. Some of these people make me cringe when they drive. Anyway, I know some of you probably cringe watching me drive. Oh my gosh. So today I'm going to talk about, hop a bush. So last night, I think it was last night or sometime yesterday, this tweet thing came across about Papa Bush, meaning the first President Bush. And I guess he's in intensive care. He's in the hospital. I don't know if he's died this morning. I'm not sure. I can't remember what I saw this morning. But I remember posting it yesterday on my Facebook, and the caption that I, put along with that, that I added to it was, I sure am glad I'm not him. And, because he's going to experience all of the things that he did with his power. Like, that's the power that he had as president, and the things that he had, the things that he did with that power. Crazy stuff. I would not want to be that man when he kicks the bucket. And so that came, I started thinking about that stuff. It's like, gosh, it's so important to know the things, it's important to know the things that we have done, but it's important to know the things that we are doing now. Because the things that are done, like the things that we have done, and they're already done. They're done. We can't take those back. We can get rid of the emotional injuries and ask for forgiveness for those things and have it removed from our soul. But we can't control anything in the past, aside from just removing the emotions and the beliefs and all the things that that cause all that stuff. But it's only now, it's the present that we should really be focusing on. So for instance, I was thinking about how all these spirits who make it up to the 6th dimension and can't progress. And the reason why they can't progress is because what they have done is they have used their mind to stop doing the things that causes their soul to degrade. So that's what they have learned. They have learned to stop engaging in those things and to be more loving. But the reason why they cannot cross that threshold between the 6th and the 7th dimension, that transitional state before they become a celestial being, is because they hold all the stuff within their soul. They haven't released it. It's still there. See, the thing, there's two things that happens with our soul in terms of progression and allowing it. And this is so amazing. Like, the Creator has really done like an amazing job. It's like, look, I'm giving God props. But seriously, it's like, to think like, it isn't just one way you can improve your soul condition. Like, there are several ways. You can release the emotional injuries, and you can change your beliefs that cause you to be more loving. And that will also change your... Actually, there's even more. You can even acknowledge truth. And so truth changes your soul condition. Like, all of these things change your soul condition. And, you know, it's like there's just many ways you can do it. But there's a limit. And yesterday I said, look, I had said something to the New Age people. I said, look, you can hold whatever beliefs you want to hold in terms of calling God the universe, or believing that God is a universe, or, you know, it's just this energy, and that's fine. But I said, whatever you hold that is untruth in terms of those New Age beliefs, you will run into a wall, because they can only take you so far. And that's with everything. Any and everything that you believe, it can only take you so far if it is not truth. And this is why it's so important for me to find truth, because I know it is not limiting, but everything else is limiting. This is why it's important for me to find it, to hold it, to know it, to live it, because it changes everything. It changes the dynamics of your life and how you live, and your experiences that you have, and how you view things, and how you figure out things and discern, and everything. Truth, let me tell you, truth, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Anyway, but I was thinking about, you know, these spirits, you know, they can get to the 6th dimension, and, you know, the 6th dimension is like, you can create so many different things. Your experiences are beyond what you can imagine, what we all can imagine. And it's like, my gosh, it's amazing how far you can get without releasing the things from within your soul, the emotional injuries. But it has to be done. So, you know, like for myself, I said I haven't been working so much on my emotional injuries, but what I have been focusing on is what truth is. And for me, I guess because I'm an intellectual type individual, and most of us are, actually, we're all intellectual because we run away from our emotions. But I love figuring things out. I like figuring out how things work and how they tick and all these different things. And so it's fun. Like, this is really fun. Learning is fun for me. This kind of learning, not calculus. I do not like calculus, but this stuff is amazing. It's fun. Learning about the laws of the universe, because these things are going to help me in the future, because it's a part of understanding, and that's what I want to do, is understand the things that are going on in the world with, you know, in regards to my soul, like the universal laws that are interacting with me. I want to learn about those things that are interacting with me. And they always have been. I just didn't know it. And so it's better for me to understand exactly what my actions, what my intent, what my willpower is doing to myself and to others. Like, that's the important thing, to be aware of yourself. Like, if you're aware of yourself and you have a desire to be a certain way, to be a more loving person, then you can have all of that. Like, that stuff can come to you. And so, there are billions of people on the planet, and some of them have never heard this stuff before. And so if you've come across my channel, or, you know, it has led you to possibly AJ, and there's actually someone who actually wrote me and said, wow, you know, your videos, you know, he said he's so thankful for running across my videos, which led him to AJ. And, like, that is amazing for someone to, you know, long for something and they run into it. And the thing is, some people long for it, but they don't allow themselves to have it. So you run across things on purpose. It's like, nothing is coincidence. So if you've run across my videos and you've had an issue with my videos, you are in search of truth, and you found it. But what happens is, you have a belief, and it doesn't jive with your belief, and you're like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, 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 blah. And you disallow yourself from having the truth. Because the bottom line is, if you come across my video, there's something that you heard that you agree with. There's something in there. It doesn't matter if it was something about law of attraction. It doesn't matter if it was about God. It doesn't matter if it was about a different law, a different principle. It doesn't matter about it. Doesn't matter what it is. You heard something. Something brought you to my video. Something brought you to my video. you know, some of you actually wait a minute. I laugh because you know, people come across my videos, you know, they search for whatever they're searching for, you know, and my video pops up and they watch it and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna subscribe, and then they listen to a video, a different video, and they're like, I'm unsubscribing. That stuff cracks me up because basically they're saying like, oh wow, this stuff is good, oh wow, yeah, I'm gonna listen to it. This stuff is, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like they allow themselves and then they disallow themselves because they don't allow themselves to continue listening to what I'm saying or what AJ's saying or what anybody's saying. And they do, not only me, it's other people too. But it's just interesting. Anyway, back to the thing. So someone had made a comment on, the traffic looked kind of thick. I think I should start getting over now. Someone made a comment on one of my videos, and sorry Fiat, but I think you only have 3 cylinders. Come on now. It's hot in here. Hold on a second. It's hot. Drop it like it's hot. I have a choice. Behind the minivan, in front of the minivan, in front of the minivan. That is a clear choice. So this person had mentioned something that they had, you know, a dream, and they were they had experience, you know, they wanted to know what their soul condition is, and so they received a vision in their dream of what their soul condition is and how it would feel not having the addictions that we have here to mask our the pain that we have within ourselves. And it's true. That's what happens. But what I wanted to say about that is pay attention to your dreams if you have them. Some people don't remember them. I generally don't remember mine. The only time I remember mine is I generally don't remember anything from my sleep state. So that's a indication that there are some things going on that I don't want to know about. But what was I going to say about that? Oh, pay attention to what happens, how you feel. I'm sorry, how you feel during your sleep state. You know, are you angry? Are you being threatened? How do you feel about that? Because that is an indication of your soul condition, whether it's a dream or a sleep state experience. And I remember having this one sleep state experience with my mom, my brother, and my little brother who's still alive, my mom who's passed, and another family member who is still alive. And that other family member who's still alive was always trying to fight me, like just fight me, like just wanted to fight, like just wanted to attack me, and that's what was happening. But this person was very weak, and they couldn't really, like, they were trying, but they were so weak they couldn't even hurt me. And you know, it's kind of like someone tries to kick you, and they don't really kick hard, and you can block them with your hand. It's almost like, what are you doing? It's like effortless. Not effortless. It's just they're putting a lot of effort, but they're not making any progress in terms of their goal and trying to hurt you. So, you know, I'm just like blocking, and I wanted to fight back. Like I wanted to like really like just lay into this person. And my mother was there, and she was just like shaking her head, no, you know, just don't. And I understood what that meant. I understood the no, the nodding of the head to be, you know, don't. This person's in pain. This person is experiencing a lot. You know, there's nothing that person can do to hurt you, and just let it go. You know, just let them be because they're in a degraded state. And that's the sleep state. But what really stood out was that nothing was in color. Everything was black and white, like a gray, like black, you know, between black and white, the grays. Like everything had that kind of tone to it. And towards the end of that experience, that family member walked out, and walked out into darkness. Like we were inside like this, I guess like an apartment or something, like in a room. It looked like an apartment of some sort. And as they left the building, and I saw them walking out by themselves because they just left, and it was just like they walked alone and into darkness. Like it was like pitch black, and that's what they were walking into. And I remember that experience, and it was this is before I actually learned about the spirit world and the different locations within the first dimension, and how the lower levels of the first dimension is like really gray and dark, and well, some places are like pitch black, and then it kind of progresses in terms of the lightness or the grays and things like that, kind of lightens up a bit. Like that's before I learned all of that. And so the thing is, I was having that experience before I learned what that experience was. Like I understood what was happening on between the family, the interaction with the family, but I did not understand the surroundings. But then, once I learned about the surroundings, I was able to look back on that dream or sleep state experience, and it was I don't know, it was enlightening. Like it shed a lot of light in terms of what my experience was. And so this is interesting, because when I have sleep state experiences or dreams, or sometimes they're a mixture of two, when I have those experiences with other people, it's very dark. Like it's kind of grayish dark like that. And with the people that I know, I should say, because I've had sleep state experiences where there was a little color, but it wasn't like vibrant, but there was color there. And that was an experience I had with a coworker. And we really don't talk, that much, but for a moment we were interacting with one another, and there was color there. This is ugly. I'm sorry that was so dark. Let me see. I'm trying not to. The experience was weird. I mean, things were kind of scarce in terms of things, and there was a color. It wasn't gray, and I remember that sleep state experience. And it seemed like it was always sunset, if you will. Like it wasn't super bright, but it wasn't super dark. And I remember that experience. And then, like I said, the experience I had with my family member, with that one who was always trying to. Mind you, this person has cancer, and has had cancer multiple times. And so I remember that experience, but all the experiences that I've had by myself or with people I did not know, like I didn't recognize from here on Earth, they were super bright and almost, it's kind of weird how to explain this, because it seemed like it was, things were not real. Like, this is going to be hard to explain because everything we know here is real. So it was beyond what this is. And so it was bright, it was sunny, or light, I should say. It was like it was sunny, like that's the kind of light that it was, like a bright summer day. And the temperature, it did like almost, I didn't feel any heat or anything, but it was super bright. And I was having fun, I was laughing, I was, what other things was it was almost like I was riding on some kind of bike or scooter type thing, and we were just flying through these fields. But what was in the fields was almost like, I don't know how to describe them, but it's not wheat. I don't think it's wheat. It's some little things that would stick up, but it didn't look real. It looked almost like a animated type, thing, and it was just really different. But I notice every time I have experiences like that, they're very bright when I'm by myself and I'm with people who I don't know. But the people that I know, those places are usually dark environments, surroundings. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because I really never thought about it, but I started thinking about it lately, about my past experiences in my sleep while I'm sleeping. Anyway, and the reason why did I get on this? It was mainly because of Papa Bush. So, Papa Bush has done a lot of things, and his son has done a lot of things, and even Barack Obama has done a lot of things that are unloving. They have all issued orders to kill other people, or to take away from other people, take away from others and give to a different crowd. And they're going to have to pay for that. Like, that's what, people want power, but people don't know how to understand power. Like, there's this person who's being primed to be promoted, and they're changing. And it's not for the better, I can tell you that. It's not for the better. They're changing in a way that is going to damage their soul big time. I'm going to go over here. And it's, I'm like, I don't know, it's just, be careful with this authority that you think you have, because you don't have authority over anyone. And if you try to exude that authority over someone that you really don't have, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for everything. I mean, we're all going to pay for everything that we do that's unloving. And this is why it's so important to understand what love is, what unloving is. Because once you do, you'll stop. Once, I don't even need the air conditioner. It's like 57 degrees outside. Once you realize what these things are, you'll stop engaging in them. But I'll just use, use myself as an example. My experience since I've been transforming and living differently than I have in the past, I don't engage with people anymore. Not because I don't like them, but because they're engaging in things that I know that is degrading their soul. And if I engage with that, then I am also degrading my soul, because I'm condoning that, and I don't condone that. It's one thing to, like, for instance, there can be someone who is a murderer, right? I don't condone that. But if I were to sit down and have a decent conversation with that murderer, that is completely different. That doesn't mean I'm condoning what they do. Now, if they started talking about, I want to cut this person up and do this and kill this and harm that, then I'm condoning what they're feeling, and the intent that they have to harm another. So just because someone does things that are unloving, it doesn't mean you don't have to communicate with them. However, if they're doing things that are, it's going to degrade your soul, because they're degrading their soul and you're involving yourself in that stuff. You see, so it depends on the interaction that you're having with that person. So let's say you have a friend who is cheating on someone, and you don't condone that. And so you sit and have coffee with them or dinner with them, and you have conversation that is something completely different than that. So you have a conversation that's not related to that unloving thing that they're doing. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So you have good, positive conversations with that person, even though that person is doing something, aside from, that moment you guys are having your little dinner or coffee. If they're doing things in their life that you don't condone, that's fine. That's something that they have to deal with. Does that make sense? But what we do here is we dismiss people, on an entire level based on one thing. And so we judge them for that one thing. And this is something we have to really be careful about, because judging degrades our soul. And that's, this is something Jehovah's Witnesses do. Like, if you do something that is outside of their rules or whatever, they'll kick you out of the religion. And so what is called excommunication. And so what they do is they just say, hey, you can't be around us anymore. Even though you're not doing the things that they claim you're doing that are bad around them, they judge you as a whole. And this is completely opposite of what they're actually teaching, because forgiveness, and not to judge others, but they're doing that same thing. They're doing that very thing. And this is one thing we have to be careful about. And this is why I say it's so important to learn these principles and how they work, and what we do, and how we believe things to be, and how they really are. Because how we perceive things is based on man, because that's what we've gotten our information from, man. But we need to learn things from God's perspective, from the Creator's perspective. Why? Because the Creator created all of it with a specific design. And so we're not operating within that design. And so we have to figure out, since we're so far off and we have free will, it is our responsibility, if we want to, that is key, if we want to be in harmony with God's design, or the Creator's design, or the universe's design, whichever one you want to use at this point. If you want to be in harmony with that, then you're going to have to look at what you're doing and see if you're out of harmony with that, and start doing things that are in harmony with that. And if you're out of harmony with it, then you have to ask yourself what's causing you to be out of harmony with that. Because what most people do is they say, okay, I'm doing this wrong, I need to stop. But they never ask themselves why they started doing that in the first place. Was it a belief? Did someone show them how to do it? Is it an emotion within them that's causing them to do it? Because we do things based on all different types of things. Like, we may feel, oh, everyone else is doing it, so I should do that. Well, that's one way, you know. And that's by your own observation. And then you have the things that your parents have taught you, and you've just learned how to do that. And so you can unteach yourself how to do that. Or you could do things that are based on emotions that are locked within you, and then you have to release those. So there's a slew of ways of, you know, that determine why we do the things that we do, but it's our responsibility to fix them. And the reason why this is important is because when you pass, I really feel this is funny. When you pass, when we all pass, it's going to determine everything. It's going to determine everything. And to me, that's important. You know, someone had asked me the other day, they said, they go, what do you do? Do you have any friends that you go out and you do things with? I'm like, no, not really. And I used to have friends I used to go out and shop with and hang out with, and go out to dinner with, and theme parks and all this stuff. Like, I used to be very active in those things. But, you know, after a while, they stopped talking to me. Because some of the things I don't engage in, like for one, I don't drink. So if people want, see, the thing is, if you look at your friends, you don't do everything with your friends. Like, some things you do with certain people, and some things you do with other people, and some things that you do with certain people you won't do with other people. So every person that you know, you have a relationship with them, and basically there's a handful of things that you guys do together. And aside from that, you guys don't really communicate. It's just on these specific things. Unless you have like a best friend, and then that best friend you basically do everything with. But for the most part, everyone has a different person that they engage differently with. And so that's how my friends were. Like, and none of my friends knew each other. Like, they were just strangers like, they didn't even know others existed. Like, they probably thought they were the only one. But you know, all of my friends, they don't talk to me anymore, for many reasons. Like, one, I have one, this person knows that I don't do drugs, and this person started smoking weed, and so they stopped talking to me because they were smoking weed. And they didn't stop talking to me because I said anything to them. I never said anything to them about smoking weed, but they knew my view on it. They knew I didn't engage in that, and they knew why I didn't engage in it. So if the reason why they stopped talking to me is because they felt they were going to be judged, and so they stopped talking to me. And then there's other people who drink all the time. Like, that's all they do. Like, if they go out and hang out, they have to have a glass to their lips. Well, I don't drink. What are you doing? I don't know what you're doing. Do you even know what you're doing? Are you trying to get over? Are you trying to go straight? Like, dude, I think you need a different car. So, you know, it's just, you know, look at your friends and the things that you do with these people, and understand, like, if people stop talking to you, allow it to happen. There's a reason why it's happening. I don't question it anymore. I just accept it, and I try to look at the reasons why and understand why it's happening. Because there's only one person I really had a fallout with, and that was the person who used to be my best friend. And we don't talk anymore. And really, there's no effort to really re-engage in that relationship. Not so much from my perspective, because I don't really care what this person's beliefs are. But, you know, if you listen to my videos, the only thing I really talk about is God, Jesus, afterlife, and the soul. Like, that's all I talk about. But this person's atheist, and this person doesn't believe in any of that stuff. And it's kind of a match in terms of us not talking, because what are we going to talk about? I want to talk about real stuff. I want to talk about the things that are important to me, which is afterlife, my soul, and God, and the universe, and the laws, and everything that is affecting my soul. I don't want to talk about, the problems of the world. I can't fix any of those problems, first of all. So I'm not going to open myself up to that content. I can't do anything about it. That's why I don't share a lot of these videos or posts on Facebook, or reposting, these animals who are being beaten and all this. Like, it doesn't do any good for me to share that stuff. I'm not willing to go out there and do anything about it. I'm trying to work on my own soul, much less, trying to save a dog. I don't have that kind of time. The time that I have is making sure that my soul is right, because I'm responsible for it. I'm not responsible for the animal. I'm responsible for the animals that I interact with, and I have my dog, and I love my dog, and so yes, I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that my dog is happy. So I guess in that sense, yes, I am doing something about it. I'm not mistreating a dog, or any other animal. So, it's just, it's important to understand what's within your soul all the time. Why you do things, the actions that you take, and, going back to that Papa Bush, gosh, man, that is, I wouldn't even want to see what that man is experiencing. Like, no, that just the thought of having an experience, based on the things that he has done, hell no. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, I just can't imagine. Anyway, yeah, so pay attention to your dreams, but most importantly, pay attention to the surroundings in your dreams, and that's going to give you an indication of what your soul condition is. Who are you acting with? Who are you interacting with? The conditions around you. Pay attention to that as well. The types of people that you're around, and the environment that you're in when you're interacting with these people. Because that's going to give you an indication, it can possibly give you an indication as to where they are and where you are. Because if you can have a better experience when you're alone, but yet you have these dark experiences when you're with other people, that may give you an indication as to, where they are, where you are, why you're experiencing that. Because it's kind of like, if if I'm in the hood, then my experience is going to be quite different. Even for a celestial, it's going to be different for a celestial being. Well, it's going to be different for myself too, because I can go to the hood and have a pleasant experience, but chaos can be all around me. And that's what happens with celestial spirits. Every time they go down to the lower levels to help, they are not affected by their surroundings. The love that they have within themselves protect them. Like the people who are dark and angry and violent, they're afraid of the bright ones because of the power that they have. And they don't even understand why they're afraid. But what they do know is that when they get close to them, they start feeling pain. And the pain that they're feeling is the pain that's within their soul that's coming out. Like, that's what a celestial being does. It exposes the pain within you, within your soul, because that's what love does. Love exposes the pain so that you can release it and deal with it. And that's one of the reasons why they don't come here, because they start triggering, or they will trigger people on Earth because of their presence. So, it's no different than going, like I said, into, and this even happens that, you remember yesterday I said that there is a pattern, or there is consistency. Well, you can look at yourself kind of like a celestial being. If you are doing well for yourself, if you have a lot of love, and you're around people who are angry, what starts to happen is they start getting angry at you. But why? Because you are triggering what's within them. And this is what was happening with Jesus in the first century when he was on earth. People hated him because they realized what he had, but in that same moment they realized what they did not have, the abilities that they did not have based on looking at what he had. And this is what happens with celestial beings. When they come, this is why I say people, there's patterns and there's consistency, and God is very consistent in terms of his creation, and he does this on purpose so that you can see the pattern and figure this stuff out, so you can look at yourself to function just like a celestial being functions in the universe. Like, because of the love that they have, because of the accomplishment that they have made, they are triggering people who don't hold the same level of love, the same level of accomplishment. And the same thing with you. Like, some people hate, like, there was, well, I won't mention that, but there's even celebrities. People hate celebrities. Why do they hate celebrities? Because of what they have. Why? Because it shows them of what they don't have, what they would like to have, but don't have. And this is the same thing. They're exposing that which is within their soul. The feeling of lack that is within their soul is being felt, is being seen, is being recognized based on what they're seeing in someone else, what they have, the abundance that they have. And this is why people get angry with you when you succeed. They get annoyed, they try to shut you down. They'll talk bad about you because they want you to feel like they feel, so they don't feel alone. This is why it's so important to know this stuff and look at the patterns. And it's not just about knowing, oh, you're jealous. No. If they are jealous, fine. But it's not something to use to put someone down. It's something that you use to understand and recognize what's going on with their soul condition. What's going on within you. Like, your accomplishment is triggering this person. But why? And the thing is, if you even say, oh, you're just mad because you're jealous, you are degrading your soul condition. Because what you're basically doing is you're saying that you are actually quite happy that this person is experiencing their lack. When you respond in that way, you're trying to bring it to their attention that they are experiencing a lack. Oh, you're just angry because you're jealous because I have and you don't. You're basically rubbing it in their face. And I actually said that the other day. That's completely different. Saying, rubbing something in someone else's face and being excited for or about your accomplishment that you've made. Lord, you driving that truck. All right, you better watch out, cars. He coming for you. These big rigs, oh my gosh, they're no joke. They know. They know. What else? What was I saying? Oh yeah, the patterns. They're all over the place, and they're in everything. The patterns are in everything that we do. Everything. Our entire lives is patterns. So, you may look at a celestial being and say, oh, their brightness, and, they reveal what is in, souls who are in a degraded state. But we do that here on earth. So if you ever feel bad or angry at someone because of what they have, it's only because you don't have. And so when a celestial being presents themselves to another spirit and they start crying, it's recognizing that they don't have that level of love. They don't have that level of power within them. And so what they recognize is their lack of all of that. And that is hurtful. Because it's like, what have I done to put myself in this condition, this position that I'm in, of not being a celestial being, of being a dark, degraded soul. All of that, you see yourself for what you truly are. And this goes back to, that dream that this lady had. When you experience, what's within your soul, it's an ugly feeling. Because, I feel like throwing up right now. This is the weirdest feeling. Why am I feeling like I want to throw up? Sorry about that. It just hit me. It is strong. Damn. That's weird. What did I have for breakfast? Yogurt. Berries. And I'm like weird, like a lightheaded, the food poisoning when I only had a banana. Maybe it was something, maybe I didn't wash the berries completely. I had blackberries. Woo! Oh, maybe it's the like I said, the detox thing. I don't know, but maybe I should slow up on this chaga tea. Woo! That was weird. That was strong. Even then, I gotta look that up. I gotta look up what that is. It means something. Oh my gosh. I'm tired today. I'm gonna drink some coffee. It's probably the last thing I should be drinking, but I'm gonna drink it anyway. Try not to drip it on myself. But anyway, I'm sorry about that. It threw me off. It went away, but it was weird how it came about so quickly. So what was I saying? Oh, the celestial beings. So yeah, anyway, just look at the patterns. Notice them. They're there. You know, if you learn about something about the spirit world, understand that it's applied here as well. It may be experienced a little differently, and the laws are going to be applied a little differently based on just, you know, living in the spirit world versus the physical here on earth. But basically the lessons are the same, the patterns are the same. It's very consistent. You know, if you are loving here, you'll have a loving experience. If you're loving there, you have a loving experience. You know, if you learn about your soul condition here and improve it, you'll have a better experience here and there. It's the same thing. You know, it's just you. It's just you. That's the thing. It's you. It's your soul having experience. Going through these different dimensions. It's all you. It's all your soul. You know, so for those who think you're an energy, you're missing out. You're missing out. I mean, if you believe that, you know, when you die and you're just this, you know, energy floating around, a part of whatever, you know, you're missing out on the potential experience. Well, you're missing out on the experiences that you can have. First of all, even just thinking about the experiences that you can have and the different things that you can experience in the spirit world. And the reason why New Age focus on that is because I have no clue what is to be experienced in the spirit world. That's why they believe in reincarnation. Because this is the only thing that they can comprehend, because it's the only thing they know. That's it. That's it. And so you start to see the limitations of this New Age stuff. Oh, I'm gonna be with source energy. That's the end? No. And that's the thing, like, that's the height of their, like, they want to be with God, basically. They want to be with the Creator. And because most people are taught that way, you know, but there's so much more to be had in the first dimension, the second dimension, the third dimension. There's currently 36 of them. Could be 37 by now, because it's been a while. But, or 38. I don't know. I haven't, I should inquire about that. But there's so much to be experienced, and you cannot experience it if you don't have a vessel to experience it in. So you need your body, your physical body, to have this earthly experience, and you need your spirit body to have your spirit experience. If you don't have those things, how can you have an experience? You have to you have to be in the 22nd dimension in order to have the soul union, to have your other half of your soul joined together so you can be one again. And at that point, you don't need a spirit body, but that's a completely different experience. But you don't just die and go to the 22nd dimension, especially if you're angry. And if you're New Age, I know there's a lot of angry people out there. Just look on Facebook. Just look on Facebook, and you'll see very clearly these people are angry. Go Do yourself a favor and join one of these new age groups. Whether it's Law of Attraction or Love and Light or, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Just log on and chime in. Don't even chime in. Just watch it. Just watch it. And you'll see it's going to explode. Uh-oh. Be careful. See? Slow it down. Go ahead and take a look at it. And if you're already involved in one of those groups, because I used to be involved in those groups, like, you want to be part of the Law of Attraction group, and you want to be in the Love and Light group, and you want to be in the Arcturian group, and you want to be in the Syrian group, and you want to be in all these Sirius or whatever Pleiadian group and the alien group, and just look at it. Just look at it. And you will see that these so-called light workers, the light worker group, and you'll see that they're very angry. And so if they believe that they're going to, just be energy with God, first of all, that ain't going to happen with God. But if you believe that you're going to be out there on this, energy, being pure positive energy, but, you have all this anger within your soul, that's illogical. So, this is what I'm saying, pay attention to this stuff. You can find out the answers really quickly. You don't even have to ask questions because the answers are already there. If you have the laws, if you know the principles and you know the universal laws and you know what truth is, and you know what love is, if you know these things, you don't have to ask any of these questions that the normal average individual would have to ask in order to know. You would just know that can't be. Like as a kid, most kids believe in Santa Claus. Maybe not so much these days, but, kids believed in Santa Claus. All right, Santa Claus brings the presents, and it's believed. But Santa Claus isn't bringing the presents. And you realize that as you get older. And so you understand that when someone says, oh, the Easter Bunny brought you this, and you look at them like, that can't be possible because the Easter Bunny doesn't exist. And so the thing is, once you know the truth, you don't have to ask, did Santa Claus really bring me this? Did the Easter Bunny really bring me this? It's like, even if someone said, because some people would, as an adult, they say, oh, this is from so-and-so, even though it was from someone else. Well, you already know that person wouldn't do anything like that, so you wouldn't even have to ask, is this person really giving me this? You don't have to ask the questions anymore because you already know the answer. And this is what I'm saying, like, I don't ask as many questions that I would have if I didn't know what I know. I don't want to say it's important, but it's such an amazing gift to not have to ask people who don't know to already know. Come on. That's fun. It's fun because you just sit back and relax and you just know. And you don't have to be like wondering, is this true? Is that true? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Because you already know it's not going to happen. It's not even a question. There's no uncertainty. And this is the benefit of this, is you have certainty. Anyway, that's it. Have a great Tuesday, everyone. And yeah, talk to you later. Bye now.